Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Chang Hoon Seog. I'm professor in Sorbonne University. My presentation theme is a study on the relationship between religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women with Buddhist beliefs. My present content, Chapter 1, Introduction and Background. Chapter 2, Research Purpose and Method. Chapter 3, Research Result. Chapter 4, Conclusion and Discussion. And last step, an FAQ. Chapter 1st, Introduction and Background Present. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, defines migration as the movement of persons away from their place of usual residence, either across an international border or within a state. This definition includes various types of migration, such as voluntary or forced, regular or irregular, and temporary or permanent. Currently, the number of migrants worldwide, including domestic and foreign migration, is about 1 million. Migration may occur for numerous reasons, including economic, social, political, or environmental factors. Migration is a multifaceted phenomenon with impacts on individuals, families, communities, and nations, requiring comprehensive and cooperative approach to manage its challenge and opportunity. In addition to labor and commercial migration, women's migration has been highlighted over the past 30 years. And through this feminization of migration, women are emerging as a subject actor of migration. Feminization of migration refers to increase in the number of immigrant married women. And at the same time, it refers to the expansion of immigrant married women in certain gender level divergence that are difficult to maintain as modernization progresses through the female migration from poorer countries. Migration is a life event that not only requires adaptation to the socio-cultural environment, but also causes stress psychologically. Mass migration can cause more problems in terms of adaptation and mental health than other forms of immigration, and that it requires a significant emotional and cultural adaptation to family dynamics due to the appearance of strangers. Therefore, immigrant married women experience a lot of stress as they leave their family country of origin and adapt to the new environment of Korea. Religion plays a very important role in Korea's multicultural society. The religion of immigrant married women is a fact inducing immigration, as seen in the case of Unification Church Korean immigrant married woman. And it also helps immigrants adapt to the culture of their destination, just as 70% of Koreans who immigrate to the United States adapt to American society through local churches, including Korean churches. On the other hand, it is also a negative effect, as in the case where a Filipino immigrant married woman with a Catholic faith is unable to engage in religious activities, such as celebrating Mass in a Korean family that only believes in Buddhism, resulting in marriage maladjustment due to the collapse of the David faith system. Religion plays an important role in the adaptation of immigrant married women. Related research is very insufficient. Although there are some studies related to the religion of immigrant married women, these studies have shown limitation in not covering the diversity of immigrant married women in Korea by only dealing with the social and the demographic variables, such as religious presence or absence, religious activity period, religious unit within the family, or participation in church activities. were analyzed that many non-Christian immigrant married women. Additionally, the limited religious study of immigrant married women reflect the relative insufficient research on religion affecting mental health. So, this study aimed to understanding the mediating effect of religious problem solving and the aspect the mental health of immigrant married woman is related to the religiosity of Buddhist. If the mediating effect of religious problem solving is verified, it will provide the basic data necessary to improve the cultural adaptation of immigrant married women in the future. In order to achieve this research purpose, the specific research questions were established as follows. First, what about the Buddhist religiosity according to the general characteristic of immigrant married women? Second, what is the relationship between the Buddhist religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women? So, what is mediating effect of religious problem solving on the relationship between the Buddhist religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women? Chapter 2, Research Method. Participants. The study investigated immigrant married women who could be surveyed by research through convenience sampling. The data of 160 Buddhist response were used for the analysis, including 40 unfaithful responses. Major scale. First, Buddhist religiosity. The Korean version of the Buddhist religiosity scale, KCTRS, developed by Seog. This scale consists of 22 items: perfect, respect, sin, understanding fact, Hang, practice fact, Hang, enlightenment fact, Chang. KCTRS scale item exam. First, do you believe in the fact that anyone can become a Buddha when they reach enlightenment? 2, are you fully aware of the Buddha's teaching? Number 3, are you keeping the 5 commandments? What? Number 4, do you feel happy in your heart since you become a Buddhist? Major scale 2, DSM-5 based mental health scale. DSM-5 adult symptom evaluation paper developed by Bang Mi-ra for college students. The scale consists of 13 areas: depression, anger, mania, anxiety, physical symptoms, suicide, mental illness, sleep problems, memory, repetitive thought and behavior, dissociation, personality function, and substance use. 7 question items were used in relation to the mental health of immigrant married women. Each item was evaluated on a 5-point Likert scale, with a higher score representing lower mental health. In this study, the internal constituent was 0.85. Number 3, religious problem-solving scale. The translation of Joe Balgoni and Kim Byung-woo, 18 questions we evaluate on a 5-point Likert scale, with a higher score indicating respond preferred type of problem solving. In the start, internal constituent value were 0.87 for the self-directed type of problem solving, 0.79 for the differing type of problem solving, and 0.85 for the collaborative type of problem solving. Chapter 3, Research Result. First, general characteristic of immigrant married women. The general characteristic of the subject are as follows. First, 65% of the respondents were under 30 years old, followed by 24% of 31 to 40 years old, and 11% of those over 40 years old. Rural areas accounting for 70%, while the city were similar spread at 30%. The most frequent period of residence was 61% for 3 to 10 years. Korean Chinese 28% and Thailand 24%, account for the largest percentage of the respondents. Second, mean analysis among Buddhist religiosity, religious problem solving, and the mental health of immigrant married women and respondents' general characteristic. There was no statistic significant difference, but the longer the residence period, the higher the level of mental health was statistically significant. Table 1, general characteristic of immigrant married woman below. 2, analysis of correlation among Buddhist religiosity, religious problem solving, and the mental health of immigrant married women. Table 2 below, C. In conclusion, a negative correlation was found between poor Buddhist religiosity and mental health in immigrant married women. Differing type in religious problem solving was positively correlated with mental health. This says that the relationship between religious problem solving and mental health is different. It's necessary to verify how different problem solving types affect the level of mental health through Buddhist religiosity. 3, mediating effects of religious problem solving on the relationship between Buddhist religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women. Table C below. In conclusion, the higher the Buddhist religiosity, the lower the mental health and mediating impact of religious problem solving in the relationship between Buddhist religious mental health. Therefore, in order to improve the mental health level of immigrant married women, it's necessary to cultivate Buddhist religiosity based understanding, practice, enlightenment, and to have pastoral activities and religious education to promote self-direct and collaborative religious problem-solving type. Chapter 4, Conclusion. This study empirically verified the mediating impact of the religious problem-solving in the relationship between Buddhist religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women. Based on result, the following are the discussion and conclusion. First, it was found that the mean of Buddhist religiosity, religious problem solving, and mental health of immigrant married women in general characteristics were no statistical significant difference. This means the multi-layered nature of religiosity does not appear much in the religious life of immigrant married women in Korean society. But the longer the residence period, the higher the level of mental health was statistically significant. This means the short and long migration period affect the adaptation of Korean society. Second, it was found that Buddhist religiosity, mental health, and religious problem solving of immigrant married women were all correlated. A negative correlation was found between poor Buddhist religiosity and mental health in immigrant married women. Differing type and religious problem solving was positively correlated with mental health. This suggests that the relationship between religious problem solving and mental health is different. It's necessary to verify how differing problem solving types affect level of mental health through Buddhist religiosity. These results are related to low level mental health and the psychological maladjustment because differing type in religious problem solving has an immature religious attitude. So it is consistent with the previous studies that there is a difference in psychological characteristics according to religious problem solving and has different influence on adaptation. So the mediating effects of religious problem solving on the relationship between Buddhist religiosity and the mental health of immigrant married women were as follows. The higher the Buddhist religiosity, the lower the mental health and the mediating effect of religious problem solving in the relationship between Buddhist religious and mental health. These results are consistent with previous study. The social support system as a religious problem solving method and religious community are more important than Buddhist religious to improve mental health of immigrant married women. And it's necessary to cultivate Buddhist religiosity, faith, understanding, practice, enlightenment, and to have pastoral activities and religious education to promote self-direct and collaborative religious problem-solving types. The limitation of this study is that, first, in analyzing the relationship between religiosity and the mental health of Buddhist immigrant married women, it was limited to quantitative research by survey. In order to compensate for this, it's necessary to conduct a qualitative survey using interview and further study. It's also necessary to study the analysis of gender difference by analyzing the relationship between the religiosity and mental health of immigrant married men as well as immigrant married women. In addition, a multi-dimensional analysis of the religiosity and mental health of Homo migrants should be conducted through a parallel study of Korean Buddhists and the priests in temples who work together in the religious field. And it's necessary to develop and implement integrated education program based on respect and consideration for multicultural families, not only in community family centers, but also in welfare centers and the general school operated by religious organizations, focusing on multicultural family welfare policies. Thank you.